because we literally cover so much of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You've got the two JRP idiots. You've got the sports guy.
We're JRP.
You've got the two Western space morons over here as well.
The road like idiots.
I was just thinking about that. It's like, man, we could do like 2 hours of nothing but Elite Dangerous and be fine.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of scrolling on my gamer card to do, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally didn't even load up my show notes for this week. All right, Mike,
don't worry, you didn't send it to us either, so that's fine.
Oh, no.
Just all right. Going blind.
No, that's just
how I know you've been busy. It's because
just me being me.
Before the show.
Well, and now, like, because we recorded Pup yesterday, we recorded the first half of Critical Misses, recorded 2 episodes of We Rogue Like It. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes to edit tonight.
Yep. Have fun with that.
Hooray. So bad. All right, new note. This is... There we go. Start a list for this.
Yep. Dude, I already
opened up my third Excel program for this podcast.
Yeah. Hold on, let me just like update my fucking, because I think I was mentioning this to Boston. Like, I have like show notes. Like, I produce them ahead of schedule, so like I know roughly how quick time has passed in a relative sense. And I've just realized that like I don't have any show notes past today, so now I'm gonna have to do like a month and a half worth to get us to that point on my show notes, just so I can start making notes now.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys do notes?
Dude,
I write a lot of notes every week.
I posted.
I usually do probably at least a page, and that's not capturing like production notes and like management meeting notes. I usually put like a page worth of notes every week.
Dude, I've got my one memo that I use on my tablet for notes and stuff for this podcast, and it varies depending on what's happened.
Yeah.
But I think that last time I talked about Bloodborne was the most I've ever written for this show.
Right. You're like dissertation over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we are actually in video land territory right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even do that. I just changed the header on my memo to reflect the current episode.
I have folders in Evernote broken out by year. So it's like, here's 2017's show notes. Here's 2018's. All right.
You are a veteran podcaster.
Yeah. That's right. Well, a veteran podcaster. I started in 2014. I was like, oh, you sweet babe.
You sweet summer child.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready to start this thing?
Sure.
Yep.
Why not?
All right. Let's
put myself in a hellhole.
We just call that podcast around these parts. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello, Governor.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Before we get to that, Moonpier is showing off his designed shirt here on the live stream. The Nymph is also wearing it. I don't have one. I should probably go buy one from myself.
You suck at promoting your own show.
I know. Well, I'm buying it from myself. So like,
I already had my sister-in-law comment on the shirt, and she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, gross sense of humor."
Yeah. You can get to visit our Patreon, our merchandise page on the right-hand side of the page. That'll take you to our Teespring site, and you can even get that on a sticker or a throw pillow, which is, I think, the funniest thing. And also Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Early access, behind the scenes, get all the cool, exclusive and secret early stuff. $5 a month. Again, not per episode. I know some Patreon pages do that, but only $5 a month. I think we release like 7 or 8 episodes a month at this point. So it's like less than $1 per episode if you do the math. Anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated. It all goes towards 2 goals. One is paying for hosting and software for the show, for me to host and produce the show. Both of those goals are on the Patreon page. I highly value transparency, so the exact dollar amounts broken down are on the Patreon page, so you can see exactly where your money goes to. And the second goal is, if we get to $250 a month, I start playing Siri games. So if you want to see me fail at Until Dawn over and over again because my hands are shaking too much because of tears, you can see that as a $250 a month tier.
And also, not to mention, at that point as well, with a couple of months, we might be able to get new microphones.
Yes, that would be really great. God, I have like this whole dream setup I have in a wish list on Amazon with a cloud lifter and a real good XLR mic and a mixer and the whole thing, and it just love to have it. It'd be so good.
So just think, for a price of your venti pumpkin spice whatever,
Yep,
which may be delicious, but Starbucks doesn't need any more of your money. Yeah.
That only lasts you maybe an hour if you milk it. This is endless hours of content.
That's right. That's right. Each episode of Outcast is like almost an hour at this point. So there you go. Patreon.com/.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to have to vamp a little bit while I let the monster out.
Okay. Well, that's patreon.com/E1M1. Your support is greatly appreciated. Everyone on the live stream, say goodbye to Dwight the cat, who's originally... he's freaking out. Yeah, I originally thought that he was a ginger cat, but it turns out that there's a variety of ginger cat called Buff. So he's a buff cat. He also does seem large and muscly. So I think it serves both words.
If the shoe fits.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Welcome back, Moonpear. What have you been playing this past week?
Okay. Start with the regulars. I'm going to do some Apex Legends.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say Apex Legends, I mean like literally just a skosh of Apex Legends. Just a skosh.
Just a match a day.
Yeah. Well, not even that, like a match every 2 days.
Okay.
Or 2 matches every 2 days because I want to get those stupid daily missions to get credit towards the weekly achievements and so on and so forth. And Apex Legends continues to be hilarious. The fan base continues to be both charming and toxic at the same time.
Charmingly toxic.
It's like every community. It reminds me a little bit of the Dead by Daylight community, where like the fan art that comes out from the Apex community is insanely good.
So good.
Like, go check out their Reddit or something, because there's some people who just do. Somebody did a magazine cover with Watson in her regular clothes, and it's sick, dude. Like,
I love that so many of these people are like, I'm a concept artist for Ubisoft working on the Assassin's Creed team. Here's my fan art of Watson. It's just like, what the? You just made like a painting in your free time in 2 hours you had on a weekend. What's happening here?
Like, that's, the whole adage about do what you love and you'll never work a day. They're doing what they love when they're not in work.
Right.
But yeah, I'm playing a little bit of Apex, like bits and pieces here and there. I'm still enjoying it. I don't like the energy meta. But now...
is it new meta time?
Now they have crossplay.
That's one of our news stories. We might as well talk about it now. Yeah.
So I haven't loaded the game since this came in, unfortunately.
Crossplay comes on the 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 days away. Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to know. Have they mentioned at all how I will be able to find you? Are we all getting our gamer tag with hashtag numbers at the end of it, like we always used to?
Hook up your Respawn account. Yeah, I'm not sure. So the thing that they mentioned is the crossplay will be in beta. It'll be across PC, PS4, and Xbox One. No news on the Switch version, which probably isn't a super high priority for them. And that you'll be able to opt out of the crossplay beta if you want. I'll be re-downloading it tomorrow just to kind of, number one, see how Apex is doing, and number two, seeing how that whole thing works. Who
Well,
knows?
If you feel like playing, give me a
Yeah.
shout.
I would
happily.
I'd at least like to see how it functions. Like, does voice chat work well? Is it a smooth experience? How, like you said, how do we find each other? How's the whole thing work?
Yeah. I'd
Yeah.
also like to know, does the people you kill have the symbols of their platform of choice on it?
Sure,
Because
right.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Because I can't wait for the Make Love Not Console Wars Xbox tweet to come back around in their faces when people are just teabagging the PlayStation players and so on and so
Right.
forth.
Right.
Because you know that's going to happen. It's going to be like,
100%.
you're not on my platform, I'm going to embarrass you.
That's right. Right. I'm not going to res you because you're over on the PC. It's like, oh no.
I can see it happening. Speaking of toxic communities, that's part of the problem. Yeah, Apex is great, whatever. I finished Spiritfarer. I did my 75% playthrough to get that final achievement I was missing.
Okay, so it's a little deeper in the game than we thought.
Yeah, dude, you need the rock breaker.
Oh, Christ. Okay. All right.
So, yeah, I got that done. I got my little check mark and it's like, cool, I beat Spiritfarer. Why did my Twitter not update? So then I had to go and reauthorize my Twitter account with TA to let people know when I've completed games and so on and so forth. Gotcha. It's important to me that people know when I start a game and when I beat a game.
That's right.
The two things I care about.
Yep.
These are the things you need to know as the audience. I respect your time. You don't need to know how many achievements I got each day. You just need to know what I started and what I finished. That's it.
Twitter.com/Moonpeer.
Yes, that's the one. So yeah, I did Spiritfarer. The game is still great.
Yep.
Animation priorities are a problem. Also, I realized you can skate through a lot of that game not feeding anybody.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because otherwise they're just like, hey man, I'm hungry. And you're like, yeah, see ya. I got stuff to do.
Yeah. Literally, it's like, I don't care. You got a mission for me to grow something? That's fine. I'll grow something. I ain't feeding you otherwise. I literally just don't care.
Yeah.
You get less stories, though. Like, you can't talk to them and interact with them and have that, because anytime you talk to them, they just complain about being hungry instead of telling you a snippet of their life. So that's the biggest downside to it.
Interesting.
I played an absolute ton of, I want to say Dwarves by Flarelight, but that's not the name of the game. It's Deep Rock Galactic.
Right.
It's stuck in my head now. I can't help it just because it's literally DBF. We played it on Friday. We played... I played a little bit on Saturday with Rob as well. That was, for anybody who follows the community on Twitter, friend of the show, T-Bomb Rocks, literally posted on Twitter about how I told him to go to bed. It's because I saw him online, I saw Rob online, I invited him to a party to play that. T jumped into the party, he's like, well, I was in bed and about to get a nap, and I was like, okay, and I removed him from the party and sent him to bed.
Give him the boot.
Mm-hmm. That's what you get. When you're sick, you go to bed. You could just drag yourself down the stairs like the chick from The Ring just to come and play like Deep Rock Galactic.
Well, and you don't want
sleep.
The worst thing for the game too is like you get halfway through a mission, then you hear soft snoring from T-Bomb's mic, and it's like, okay, cool.
True.
Good night.
Way he plays, sometimes it's the same difference, to be honest.
Heyo. Hot blast.
I say it with love.
That's right.
Occasionally. Yes. Deep Rock Galactic continues to be one of those games. Like, it's kind of a games as a service game, but not.
Right, like not one of the predatory ones.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool, you can play this, you can level up your character, you can do a bunch of missions. I've now started unlocking assignments for secondary weapons for my gunner, and then it's like this whole deep rabbit hole where it's like, oh, I can fill these bars, and then these bars, and then these bars.
Yeah.
And then I can do that 3 more times with the other classes.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where it's just like, oh, and the dungeons are procedurally generated. Cool, cool.
I'll never stop playing this game. All right.
It has that potential, we'll say. But no, it's just been fun. It's a very zen game at this moment in time where you stick it on the middle difficulty, you jump in with Rob and T and whoever else you want to join in, Mike, Mark, Joe, Jeff, whatever his name is.
Those all actual people, or you just can't remember a name again?
One dude with one name. I just can't remember.
One very memorable name.
Yes. Unlike Jason, who lies, who says, "Yeah, I'm downloading it right now," and then doesn't download it, and then can't play the game with you the
It
next
just
week,
unfriends
even
you.
though he said he was downloading it. But no, it's just this cool Zen thing where it's just like, okay, what's the objective? Let's go out, let's do that. We're gonna completely ignore the Gunk Seed mission, which, for the PG nature of the show, I cannot describe the name we have for them because.
All right, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yes, it looks like a certain thing that cannot be mentioned on the show without being bleeped or muted out, so
Right.
I'm not going to mention.
Forbidden knowledge.
Yes, forbidden knowledge. Go Google it if you're interested. Adults, go Google it if you're
Right.
interested.
Right.
But yeah, it's a good, chill little game that came out in 2020.
Yeah. Most importantly.
Most importantly, came out in 2020.
Right. As we're entering October.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of coming out in 2020, I started Mortal Shell, which immediately somebody gave me flack for not playing Bloodborne, not pointing any fingers or naming any names.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The guilty party spoke up.
Yes, coincidence there.
Hey,
I
there's
think.
3 of us. Anyone could have said anything.
That's right.
Yeah, we could have, and many of the community members could have said something too, but you chose to speak.
Sometimes you have to be the voice that reaches out.
That's right. The voice of
Correct
reason.
the wrongs of this world.
The wrongs of Yarnum.
Yes. But no, it's funnily enough, actually, I'm only playing this game because T-Bone Rocks actually purchased it for me. He was like,
nice.
"Dude, you like Souls like? Here is a Souls like. I'm playing it. It's really cool." I was like, "Okay, cool." A month and a half later, I finally actually get to loading it up for the first time.
Right.
So it's very much a Souls like it's plays like Dark Souls 1 with a couple of tweaks here and there. You don't have a shield. Instead, you can, and pardon the phrasing, instead of having a shield, you harden,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
which is to say that your body becomes coated in like stone and you're frozen in place.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
then the enemies,
a shell, possibly.
Yeah, you do like an armor
Yeah.
lock.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
like Metapod. Like you sit there and just use harden over and over and over again until your defense is so high you can't take damage.
Right.
But when you get struck by a physical attack, that harden goes away, the stones shatter, and then you continue in whatever you were doing. So it brings up this really, like, it's got the Dark Souls, like, parry and counter system and stuff like that, but I'm garbage at them and I always were, so I'm not going to pay any attention to that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I am, because I press the button, it's like, oh, timed perfectly. This would make sense if I'm pressing it in time with the hit making contact with me, but it never wants you to parry when the hit makes contact with you. It wants you to press the counter button 3 beats of a second before it does to give your guy the chance to do the animation to parry.
It wants you to do the wind up parry, not the actual contact parry.
Right.
And it never helps that these games have so much jank that it's a whole other thing that you're trying to time that doesn't make sense to what you're seeing on the screen. So
right.
And then so I'm bad at that system. So I'm just going down the hardened route at the minute. Oh boy, phrasing.
Wait until you meet the boss where you have to parry no matter what. Your make or break moment.
Yay.
Your keep installed or uninstall moment.
Well, I like the concept so far. Like, you are this basically Tool music video corpse.
I was trying to think of how to explain your character, but yes, it's very much a Tool music video guy.
And you find these humans, or mortal shells, if you will. And you basically possess them, and then they become your style. Like, the dude who you start with is very average across the board. The second guy, I think, is a bit faster, but he's got less defense, but he can also do more of the resolve attacks, which is a whole nother system that they've thrown in on top of the usual stuff. Like, it's it's not a bad game so far. Like, it looks great, it plays well. I'm struggling to adjust to the hardened system because the whole thing with it is you can literally start an attack, hit the harden button, and then you're just standing there with the sword halfway in animation, ready to hit somebody. They hit you,
Oh,
and then it shatters the stone, and you immediately hit them with that contact of the sword.
so
So
you're
you
doing
can
like a
start a combo.
you're doing like a fighting game cancel mechanic.
Yeah, essentially, where you
Interesting.
literally cancel the attack into a defensive stance, and then the animation just continues as soon as you're done with that.
That's
And it's
cool.
like, it's an interesting concept, and don't get me wrong, it's not groundbreaking, it's not earth shattering, but
Sure.
it's a new take on this style of combat. Which, let's face it, every year there seems to be 15 of these Souls-like games that come out, and they vary in quality.
Yeah.
Yep.
So so far, I'm enjoying it. I'm only like 2 zones in at the moment.
Mhm.
And I realized how long it's been since I've played a Souls game because I'm literally smashing my face against this one particular wall, and I'm just like, I need just to slow down. Like, I need
Mm.
to just stand back and take a beat because it's been so long since I've played these type of games that I'm literally just running around the corner, getting slaughtered, and then sprinting back to my corpse. And guess what happens when you do that, folks?
Right.
You die.
You'll lose all your souls because you die again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so far it's a fun game. It's it's a good change of pace from the other things I've been playing. Because, like, I'm playing a lot of Apex. Like, this is like Apex and fast paced, and the dwarves and mining and so much shooting and everything I've been playing that a good melee combat game feels about right.
Right.
And I will continue down my 2020 hellhole. Not real life video games.
Right.
2 separate hellholes.
Right.
Because I literally dipped my toe into 2020's hellhole of the year, which is Hades.
The 2020's thirstiest title.
Yes, 1,000%.
I've been playing this
I'm-
too.
Yeah, I'll let you take the stage because on this
Okay.
front, I have done 3 runs so far. Like, I literally
Ugh,
booted
done
her
like-
up and did a couple of runs.
I've done like maybe 7. I just unlocked the codex and did like 2 more failed runs. I've not beaten the first boss, so I've not gotten
Same.
out of the intro area. Did I talk about this last week?
I don't think so.
Briefly.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
you talked about it. I believe the complaint I had from a friend of the show, who I will not name, was, I'm surprised Boston didn't have more positive things to say about this game.
It was very. I think I had like 2 runs under my
You
belt last
probably
week.
did last week what I've done this week.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of it is talking to people in your sort of home base. A lot of petting Cerberus. That's always a good time.
Mhm.
Chatting with him. Getting a lot of the good voice acting. Doing a lot of talking to the training dummy that's in that weapon room, which is
Yeah, the stupid
re-
skeleton who's just
really
full
good
of dad
character.
jokes as well.
Just such a good accent on that dude. I did manage to unlock one of the systems in the game I really like is the heirloom system. So in your weapon room, like that last room before you go back into the dungeon, there's that like display case, and in
Mhm.
it there's a bunch of unlockables, like permanent unlockables you get from. It appear I'm not looking up a lot of stuff about this game because I'm having fun building the flowchart at my own speed, which is
Mhm.
very slow, admittedly. But I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So there are those. I don't know if you've seen them. There are those presents you can get in the dungeon. They look like a little, like a circle potion thing that has like some orange liquid in it.
Oh, I haven't even been introduced to the heirlooms yet. Like, that's still a locked
Okay.
case for me.
I feel like you'll probably get your first heirloom. I think you start with one. If not, you'll get it like the next run. So I gave a couple of gifts to Nyx, and she gave me an heirloom that immediately when you equip it, it increases your health by 25. And then after
Mhm.
you clear 20 encounters, it upgrades to give you another 25, and it looks like it has like 2 more stages after that. So I equipped that very quickly because you don't start with a ton of health.
No, you don't.
Yeah, and I feel myself getting better. I'm trying more different skills that you can get from the gods that are giving you boons. I've started experimenting with more of there's like chests you can find in rooms where it'll give you maybe like 100 health or 100 money or 25 of the purple currency. I don't know what that stuff's called. If you beat the encounter that Hades gives you fast enough, but if you go slowly, the reward starts ticking down. So like if you go super slow, maybe it'll give you 65 health instead of 100. And part of what I really like about Hades, and I haven't seen this in a roguelike in a while, because most roguelikes follow the Binding of Isaac formula, which is here's a Zelda dungeon, you're discovering the map. What I like about Hades is you finish a room, and then there's 1 or 2 pathways you can take out, and they have a symbol of what the reward from that room is going to be.
One of my favorite things about this game is the very clear, here is what is in the next room, which one do you want to go into?
Yeah, like this one's going to have health, this one's going to have a shop, this one's going to have money, this one has a god boon, and you can see exactly which god it is based on the icon. I think that's really smart, because instead of there's still a dice roll of you might not get the thing you need from those options, or maybe there's only one option, but if you don't need money and you need health, you can specifically say, well, I'm not going to go to this one. That's not going to, I already have like 200 gold. I'm going to go to this one because I have 2 health, and I'm going to try and see if I can get 25 more by going down that path. That's one of my favorite things in this game. There's so much of it that's so smartly designed from
like
a
it's the funny thing about that, like that door sequence. Like, I'm not calling myself a roguelike pro here or anything, but we do a show about it, and there was a show that went on for a year and change before that. But like halfway through the tutorial, doing that first run through the dungeon, halfway through the tutorial, I was like, the doors are telling me what's the reward in the next room. That's a really clever piece of design if you're paying attention to it. 3 rooms later, it's like, oh, the doors are telling you what's in it. It's like, okay, so I noticed it 3 rooms before you pointed it out to me. Like,
but that's really good design. Like, that's the game is telling you really clearly what you're going to get, what you're going to do, and I like the it reminds me a little bit of like what Everspace was trying to do, where between runs you go talk to that the mirror in your bedroom, and you can take that purple currency that you're building up and put it to permanent unlocks on your character. And a lot of them are like your backstab attack on your regular attack does a little bit more damage, or you have a chance to regenerate 3% health when you finish a room, and then you can use those keys to unlock additional bonuses and buffs at the bottom of that list. So you're sort of feeding 2 currencies into one thing. It is flat out really good. Like
just looks wise, number one,
that's great.
Like, the art style in that is gorgeous, looks incredible, really clearly visually designed things for monsters and attacks and things like that.
Yep.
And then I don't think I've played a top-down action game like this that's controlled this well in a long time.
Yeah. I feel like this controls a lot like what people celebrate a lot of character action games, especially like Platinum's games for, where it's you have this fluidity and you have this, you're easily stringing stuff together. Like, you don't even have to, in Hades, you don't even have to think about like dashing through a person, doing a couple of swipes. Your dash is immediately available again, so you can kind of do this dash around enemies and through them. If you want to just dash nonstop and take a couple of swipes at people and keep on moving as fast as you can. You can do that. Like, it just, you pick it up immediately, and your skill with the game just keeps getting better and better from an already impressive first spot.
Mm-hmm. Like, I played this not ideally over Steam Link and didn't notice any issues at all, which I'll get into with my final game this week. But like, I just loaded it up, stuck it on Steam Link. Like, the voice acting is incredible. Let's get that out the way first and foremost as well.
Yep.
I love the character designs on all of the gods.
Yep.
Like, it's really solidly done. I love the fact that Hades is just like this bored old bookkeeper where he's kind of had enough of it all.
Yep. And he's just like, he's sort of goading Zagreus into like, yeah, man, go back in the dungeon. I wonder what's going to happen. Oh, you died. Oh, shucks. Who could have seen that coming? You want to go back in? See if it happens differently this time?
And Achilles as well. Like, just chilling to the side.
Achilles just being like, yeah, I'm hanging out here.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's really solid game. Like, I don't know. Does this show go up first, or does We Rogue Like It go up?
This show will go up first.
Do we want to talk about that here, or leave it for that?
We might as well talk about it here.
Yeah. So, in the spirit of choosing what we want to play and trying to find some happiness in the world in 2020, we are officially playing Hades for We Rogue Like It for the next 4 weeks. So Boston and I will probably not talk about it a lot on this show because we tend not to do that. But don't worry, it's not because we've stopped playing it. It's because literally we're going to have a whole separate show with an episode dedicated to just that game.
10 to 15 minutes a week, just deep diving into Hades specifically. Yeah. I'm playing it on Switch, and I'm really happy with the performance over there. I have not run into any issues. I'm playing it handheld, so there's some stuff that's a little bit tiny, but none of it is ever enemies or attacks or any of that. That stuff is super readable. There's just some text every once in a while that's, like, especially when you talk to some of the spirits that are around, and they kind of tell you like a little blurb and how they died. That stuff is pretty tiny, but that's really the only stuff that's been tough.
Or when you smash a bunch of vases and then the spirits in the room get annoyed with you because you smashed all the vases.
It's a really good expression where they're like, "Hey man, what are you doing? This is where we live. Come on, man."
Yeah, and he's just like, "Oops, not me. Wasn't me." I was like, "Dude, come on."
Yeah.
Like, literally, we just watched you do it.
Yep. Hades is really good.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't learned that from Twitter and social media and the internet at large over the past 3 weeks.
Right.
Go play Hades.
I mean, that's the sort of the tough part sometimes talking about really popular games on the show. Like, it's a great problem for Supergiant to have yet another hit, because Bastion was a huge hit on the 360.
So good.
Transistor did fairly well. Pyre kind of never really took off. And then as soon as Hades launched, they were like, we sold 1 million units. It's just like, oh, okay, great. So like, you have probably seen a lot of people talking a lot of very positive stuff about Hades, and it's tough on the show to always say, like, how much more do we say other than it is exactly that good as much as you've been seeing. And if that interests you, go play it, because it's worth the $20-25, whatever that it costs.
Yeah, I think it's 25 at the moment. I think it was 20 early access.
Yeah, I bought it on Switch when it was 20, and I bought it early access on Epic Game Store because I wanted to support them, and it's well worth the $25. It seems like it's a huge game, and a lot of people that have finished it are like, all right, I finished it, and now all of this other stuff unlocked, and it's like, oh no.
From what I understand, there's a lot that unlocks a lot later as well. So
yeah, I haven't really looked into that stuff because I don't really want to get spoiled on it. But yeah, that's sort of my weakness, where it's like, yeah, I finished it the first time, and I was like, oh no, and they're like, all the stuff unlocked. I was like, oh no.
I believe the terminology you are looking for here, Boston, is you are a big fan of everything is terrible.
Yes. Yeah. Oh god. Playing a little bit of Isaac on PC this week, and I unlocked everything is terrible. And I was like, oh no. But also, yay.
Yep. See, that's exactly what you were
Yep.
looking for.
I'm a glutton for
Um,
roguelike punishment.
yes, you are. But if that's everything on Hades,
Yep, go play Hades. If any of
okay.
that interests you, if anything you have seen interests you, and especially if you're worried about how difficult roguelikes are, just turn on God mode. You get 1% damage resistance every time you die, and I don't believe it has a cap. So you
Die
just get
100 times.
you just get stronger every time you go through a run. So you
That's
take
pretty
away a
good.
lot of that frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My final game this week is a little bit weird. It's BPM dash bullets per minute.
So good.
For those of you who don't know, speaking of roguelikes, speaking of mixing genres together,
Right.
this is a rhythm-based first-person shooter roguelike.
That sort of looks like Doom.
Yeah, original Doom, like OG Doom,
Yes.
or Quake is probably a better one for it because it's
Yeah.
got the whole Norse mythology thing going on. So let's just get this straight out the way. At the top of the table here, where we're talking about BPM, this game is metal as hell, and I love it.
It's real good.
It's so metal. I love a good chunky guitar beat. Like obviously drums and everything else, but a good chunky guitar, strum and chord and progression.
Like that first time you jump into Quake 2 and that first level's music starts playing, and you're like, yeah, yep, yeah, here it is.
The Dark Cathedral music in Isaac. Like there's some really good like heavy metal kind of music in Isaac as well.
Yep.
But okay, this game's hard to explain. So while I was waiting for Hades to download, I decided let's use Steam Link to play a rhythm-based shoot 'em up roguelike game on my computer, while my wife is playing a multiplayer game sitting right next to me. Because that seems like a good idea. It wasn't. Spoiler alert, it wasn't.
Right.
Very difficult to keep beat with that amount of latency. However, I did learn that BPM has a kind of its own god mode, which is auto rhythm.
Okay.
So, for the formerly talented rhythmers like myself who no longer have any rhythm because my whiteness is taken back over again,
okay,
it basically doesn't punish you for missing a beat. It just takes your button press and times it to the next beat. So if you accidentally hit on the quarter beat, it will take you to the next half beat and basically do the same input at that half beat. So it takes that into account. There is also different forgiveness levels for the beats, so you can take care of, like, if you're just a little bit off, you can widen the forgiveness range on the button presses.
That's nice. Especially with latency being what it is on TVs and setups and keyboard and mouse and controller, and there's a lot of variables.
Yeah. So the basic gist of this game is if you've ever played Isaac or the original Zelda, I think it is, or any one of those dungeon crawly roguelike games, you go into a room, you kill all the enemies in a room, you open the doors to the next room, you do that, you explore the floor, you find a boss, you beat the boss, you go through the door, you go to the next floor. However, in BPM, you can only fire on the beat. So you can only fire your weapon on the beat. You can only dodge on the beat. You can move completely freely, but you have a speed dash that you can only do on the beat.
Okay.
You can jump whenever you want as well. That's not limited to the beat as well.
Oh, nice.
You can only reload on the beat.
Oh no. Okay.
And depending on the gun you have, it's a different fire and reload mechanic.
Oh.
So a good example of this is you start off with a pistol, and the pistol can fire on a half beat. So you can fire on the beat and fire on the half beat, and then reload on the beat and reload on the half beat. So it just becomes this like 7-bullet magazine of like pew, 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 7 times, and then you hit the reload button. It's like click, 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 click. This really satisfying rhythm to this mechanical process of firing the gun at the bats that are spitting at you, and the spiders and the scorpions and everything else that's attacking you, while circle strafing and dodging around the room at the same time. And then when you get the shotgun, you fire on the major beat, and then you cock the gun on the half beat. So it's
oh man,
on the different beats. Now, I'm doing this very slowly to emphasize the point. The beats are a lot faster than that.
I've seen some like animated GIFs and videos of this. It's fast.
Yeah, and it's metal, so you don't really lose the beat because it's literally screaming down your ears the whole time.
A lot of double bass.
There's a lot of double bass. There's a lot of shrieky guitars. There's a lot of everything going on. I'm sorry, Nimp. Was that head shake a, oh no, I might have to buy this game I just saw?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds interesting.
There is an 8-minute gameplay trailer on IGN. That's the thing that I saw that persuaded me to pick this thing up. So go check out the 8-minute game trailer on IGN. It shows you the music. It shows you the first couple of guns. It shows you the first floor. We talk frequently when it comes to roguelikes about that one more run thing.
Right.
Isaac has a very good panache of doing.
For anyone watching the live stream or the video over here to my right is that 8-minute gameplay of BPM from IGN.
Mm-hmm. So what if you watch that video or the live stream, you'll see that basically your cursor is actually a diamond in the middle, and the beats come in from the side. So you pull the trigger when that hits the diamond, and it's not a twitch-based shooter. You don't need to be accurate as long as your crosshairs are within that diamond is your full range of fire. So if you have an enemy in that, they'll have a white dot on them, and that white dot means you will hit that enemy. It doesn't have to be within a pixel. It just has to be in that diamond.
Okay.
And you can get new weapons. In the bottom left-hand corner, there is an equipment notification thing, like a little diamond.
Mm-hmm.
You unlock different equipment, which gives you different skills. You can unlock ultimate abilities, such as the fireball thing that's getting cast in the video. Like, you get a pair of goggles, and it's auto-aim, and it turns that diamond, like, 5 times as big, so it's just half the screen is, like, your firing zone.
That's great.
Which makes it very difficult, I'm not going to lie, to actually hit the beat, because your focus zone has changed from the small beat thing to the big beat thing, and it's a bit distracting.
Oh, right.
But there's like there's so many different upgrades and things like that, and it has the Isaac problem as well, Boston, of keys, potions, health. There is 5 locked chests on this floor, but you've only got 1 key. There is an item room in each floor that you can go and get from a good item usually.
Right. The map looks really readable, which is kind of impressive for a game that you don't really want to pause or like look away from something.
You cannot pause it.
Okay. That makes sense.
And like one of my favorite things is every time you pick up a new gun, there is different animations, and like with the pistol, like there's like a rapid fire pistol, and your Valkyrie, because it's Norse mythology, so why not? Like does a little guitar tap across the top.
That's great.
And then when you pick up the shotgun,
when they picked up the shotgun, yeah,
the guitar strum, like he is strumming at the top bars. It's like the animation's so good. Like there's exploration events. Like it literally. I started playing this. Oh, speaking of, the shopkeeper is a giant baby griffin. Just for the record, it's so cute.
Really good.
It's ridiculous.
That's really good.
But I started playing this as I'll play Hades as soon as it's done downloading. Let me just do a couple of runs of BPM and see how it feels. And this was on the Steam Link with the auto beat thing turned on. 2 hours later, I stopped playing.
Right.
It was literally like quick restart. Let's go again. I need to keep playing this. It's so good to play, and it makes you like, especially with the auto beat, playing on Steam Link and whatever. Like at this point I don't even care if you want to play with auto beat when you're not on Steam Link, when you're doing it on normal PC.
Sure,
like I did.
yeah.
Do what makes you feel good, because boy, I felt like the king of all badasses, like unloading 17 shotgun shells into somebody, and then the reload on the shotgun is a triple button press. Like it's eject, slam, cock for the shotgun, and it's like this really good triple beat thing of like really, really quickly. It's
I'm
so
excited to
good.
see how Moonlight handles this. Because Moonlight has historically been a lot smoother than the remote play. Yeah, BPM caught my eye a while ago because I think it was at like...
I think we saw it at a trailer for one of the events or something.
Yeah, for like an indie focus, and I was just like, someone's making like a metal rhythm-based roguelike. Like, I don't... First-person shooter, like, I don't know how this is going to work, and I've been retweeting a lot of their stuff on Twitter because it just... Even like a quick couple-second animated GIF looks really great and just shows off exactly what this game is. And I'm super happy to hear that it is exactly as successful and as good as you hope it would be.
There's so much Isaac in this. Like there's secret rooms and secret chests and all kinds of other stuff in it, which I know because I'm a roguelike experienced person at this point, and I can recognize this kind of thing. But it just feels weird to be at like, because I played it for 2 hours on Steam, like, and then I kept like on Saturday I did my budget because of things happening in real life. So I did my budget on the Saturday morning, and then literally switched on my controller, loaded a BPM, and it sat there for another 2 hours.
Right.
I was just like, I don't care. I'm playing BPM. This thing it's taking up my brain. Like I played that first level trying to get used to the game about 25 times, and not once was I disappointed by the music. I was like, cool, this piece of music again. And then you get to the second level, and it's a completely different piece of music, and you're like, cool, new music, and then you get to listen to it all over again.
Oh man, yeah, we talk a lot about it on We Would Like It, about when games occupy space in your... Sorry, on the video, you guys will see it in a second. He just picked up another pistol and he just patted the top of it. How much a game occupies time in your brain, like when you're not playing it, how much are you thinking about it? And it sounds like BPM is sort of always like the beat is going on in your brain where you're like, you could go back to playing BPM. You've done all the stuff you needed to do. You could just come back and play. And I think that's a sign of a really great game. It's just, you're kind of being pulled back to it.
Like, I'm not kidding. Like, this thing literally lives rent-free in my brain right now. It's just like, it's fine. Like, the art style, it might turn some people off. You might like it, you might not. It does the whole Isaac thing as well, where it's got, like, each level, it's like Asgard, Svelheim, and all the other kind of levels, but it does variations on them. So, like, Infested Asgard is going to be full of spiders. Glass Asgard is going to be full of, like basically glass tanks, where it takes one hit to kill them, but if they hit you, it's going to do a lot of damage. Like,
interesting.
It's got that variation as well. And Dark Asgard, where literally you can only see by the flashlight that you have. It's like,
jeez,
really good.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's $20 on Steam right now, and it looks like they're doing console releases next year.
Yep.
Nice.
So I googled, like, is it going to come to the Xbox this year? And it was like, maybe next year, maybe.
Yeah.
I get the impression it's a small team.
It is. They have a challenges thing in the main menu, and they currently have 6 challenges, and in the 7th slot it says if we can afford to do more.
Oh, nice.
Like, that tells you how much of a budget this was probably built on.
I can't be happier that this, number one, that you're enjoying this game, and number two, that it turned out as great as it seemed like it was going to.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
It just feels good, like that, like the music and everything, and it all comes together, and there's like the items that you can unlock, and all of a sudden, it literally, the number one thing for roguelikes happened to me this week, which is to say I got 4 items and a pretty solid gun. I was like, cool, this is the run to beat the game, and in the very next room I died.
Right. So still roguelike.
Roguelike status confirmed.
Right.
Do you have to pick up ammo too?
No, it's infinite ammo. You just have to reload all of the guns. Like, you pick up coins, and there is like little shrines that you can drop the coins in to increase like accuracy or range or damage and stuff like that.
I was just saying it was looking like the guy was watching the video that we have on the stream. It looked like the guy was gliding across the floor, shooting the floor as he's up in the air. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh, you can rocket jump, and there is like secret hidden areas and ceilings and stuff like that as well. Like,
man, that's great.
it feels like a game that was made with a lot of love.
Yeah.
And I adore it. Like, I'm kind of like, you guys can talk about it. I'm just going to load up BPM in the background.
Yeah, I'm just going to play in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. No, BPM is great. That's bullets per minute, by the way, if you're interested in checking it out on Steam. And that's all I've been playing. Over to Mr. Nimp.
Cool. So, I've only played 2 games this week. A lot of them. First game that I played this week was No Man's Sky. Did a lot of solo playing, did a lot of playing with my kids. Did not have any major glitches this week.
Yeah. Woo.
I had a life glitch where I completed a very difficult mission and then lost power before I could turn the mission in. Which
come on, Sean Murray.
That almost made me throw my controller into the TV because it's like, seriously, every time I get anywhere in this game. Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, I've been focusing more on trying to do the Atlas path, which is kind of its own weird pain in the butt to try to do. Trying to find the Atlas stations that you need to go to. I have upgraded my ship this entire time. I've been using the original ship that you start with. And so I bought a A-class ship this time around finally because my son kept making fun of me for driving the old clunker.
It's like someone using the default skin in Fortnite where it's like, oh, look at this dude.
Yeah, it's like, it worked for me, but whatever. And so bought a new ship. And then I also bought a new, I don't even know what you would call them, rifle, basically. The gun that you can get.
Multi-tool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I'd already upgraded forever ago, but I finally found something that was better than what I had bought 40 hours ago. So it's like, all right, cool, let's get that and upgrade it since I'm on a shopping spree anyway. And that's about where I'm at with this game. I'm kind of just looking for Atlas stations, but I'm also kind of just flying around doing stuff.
Looking at all the pretty stuff.
Yeah, and this is the second space game where I'm trying to get to the center of the galaxy. I am nowhere near the center of the galaxy, and I keep getting further and further away from the center of the galaxy.
I fired the game up the other day, and I feel like that's going to be my next objective. I have a really solid home base that I can always return to. I've never finished the Atlas path, and I've never gotten to the center of the galaxy. I feel like I want to at least start making my way towards there. I have all the engine upgrades. My hyperdrive is super efficient. I feel like I maybe have a good setup to go do that.
Well, and I'm just kind of I haven't been messing with the upgrades and stuff because I guess there's the upgrade. The thing that I don't like about certain upgrades is that they will take up your inventory slot when you use them. Which I kind of need that for other things.
Yeah, I feel like I've been pretty lucky that my ship has. There's the 2 tabs. There's the inventory tab and the equipment tab or whatever they call it. Technology.
Like that,
yeah, technology. My technology tab on my ship is really big. My inventory tab is really small. That's fine because I don't need inventory. I have my exosuit maxed out. I need the technology tab though.
Well, a lot of the upgrades that I'm getting, none of them go into the technology tab. They have to go into your inventory slots.
Oh, I see. So they're the base level.
Yeah. It's like, well, this sucks. Which I have my backpack for my actual alien character, whatever, is fully open. I've got all the slots for that, and I've been upgrading my technology slots for that, and my what do they call it, cargo, which is the one that's supposed to let you hold 900,000 of one whatever.
I've been putting the most common carbon and oxygen. I put those there, and it's I have 30,000 oxygen. It's yes, you can go on the cargo tab, and I will just not have to worry about it.
Yeah, really, all you need is oxygen, sodium, and what's the other one for making antimatter?
Dihydrate?
Crap, it's one of the no, it's one of the metals. Chromatic.
Yeah.
Chromatic something.
Yeah.
And then like ferrite dust. Those are like the 4 things that you need to.
The stuff that's on every planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel like hitting up every planet, just dump a bunch of that crap in and you're good to go for a while, which is kind of what I've been doing. A lot of the Atlas stations, it hasn't happened with the last 3, but usually like the first 6 that I hit up, they'll give you like 2 warp cores.
Yep.
But like the last 4 haven't. So I don't know what's going on with that all of a sudden.
I'm at the point I ran into another Atlas station, and then they're like, all right, like, go find the next one. And I don't have one on my map anymore. I don't, like, when I pick Atlas stations from a filter on the Galaxy map, it's just like, hey, man, I don't know. So I got to go back to the Nexus, talk to Nada and Polo, see if they can point me in the direction.
I had that issue, too, because I found one randomly, and then I found another one, and then all of a sudden there was just nothing, and then I warped from one space station to another one, and all of a sudden I've just been following this path that there's an Atlas station probably like 2 or 3 jumps away, and just following this path so far is leading me in some direction. I don't know. I'm getting these items that I can make. Don't know what they do. Don't know what they're used for.
Yeah, I've picked up like 10 of these orbs that are just different colors, and it's like, you can make these. And I was like, okay, do I need them for something?
Not yet, but
yeah, who knows?
I've got most of my what do they call them, milestones are maxed out.
Right.
I think I've got 5 out of like the 10 or so that aren't. I saw you got the platinum recently.
Yep.
And then I saw that one of the requirements for the platinum was the zoologist thing, where it's like completely and totally scan a certain amount of planets. And I was like, nope, screw that.
So that one, I have always struggled to get that one. I had the easiest time on this one because as soon as I landed on a planet, before I got it, as soon as I landed on a planet, I would go look at the thing. It would say like 0 out of X discovered. There were so many planets I would go onto. There was only one type of enemy. Just run in a straight line as far as I can. Every minute or so, I'd pull out my scanner. I'd find it, scan it, turn it in, and then it'd be like, hey, you discovered everything. It's like, all right, on to the next planet.
I haven't come across any of those kind of planets.
A lot of those planets I found were not ones that are lifeless, because those obviously don't have any flora or fauna on them. It's a lot of the weird planets where you land and it's like everything is bubbles, and here are a bunch of like hexagon plants that are all over the place. Those are the ones that I found a lot of times have just one animal, or like 1 or 2 animals on them.
Yeah, I'm always on the planets that have like 20 plus of all 3, and I can't find the last 2.
Yep.
And then it just makes me want to nuke the planet from orbit, which is not a feature that they've included in any of the updates yet.
Right. Maybe 4.0.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that I did with this is that I went back to my home base, which I haven't been to in a while, especially since this last update, and everything has changed. I've got different types of plants. Like I have to rescan my original planet, which wasn't as big of a deal. The big deal was that I was using landmarks to find where I had certain mining things happening.
Right.
And my landscape completely changed.
Oh no.
So I had to reorient myself with new landmarks, because I'm like, okay, I know generally if I go in this direction, it's going to be straight for a while and slightly to the left. So I should be able to find this massive auto miner just sticking out of the ground. Not the case, because now I have all these huge plant matter things all over the place, and the top of the hill that it was at is now level, so it's not on a peak anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun.
I did that on Astro Neo and got severely lost and had to call him back up to help me scour the planet for my home base.
Well, and I kept, because you get the icon for your base and where your starship lands, so I was using my distance from that to be like, okay, I'm like 900 whatever it's using for measurement away, So it should be roughly in the semicircle area of this part of the planet and where I'm at. And no, it was a pain to find. Like, God, I hate updates sometimes.
And it's so funny because like they said they were pretty upfront about the animal part of it, because they said there were too many items in the game, especially like all these different baits and all these kind of different meats you had to deal with animals. So we made a whole ton of animals extinct to just get rid of all those items. So we've regenerated the flora and fauna on your planet. But they said that your planet itself shouldn't have changed, but they found that if your planet was kind of like one of the new types, like if it was a boggy planet or like a fiery lava planet, it got nudged a little bit towards another planet type, and your topography got changed more than they wanted to. So that's kind of a bummer that happened to your planet.
Well, and to be fair, I haven't been back to my main base in probably 2 or 3 updates.
Oh, okay.
So it probably happened a while ago, and I'm just now getting back to it and be like, oh, what's all this?
What's going on here?
The neighborhood has changed.
Right.
But it wasn't that, like I said, I had a good general idea on where everything was at, so it wasn't that big of an issue. It was just kind of a pain that I'm driving around in circles trying to find this thing.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, the game's still going. I'm still having fun with it, despite all of my personal issues, apparently.
Right. The universe trying to stop you.
Yeah. And the last game that I played an absolute poop ton of this week is Genshin Impact.
I have played so much of this game this week.
So, clarify for me: is this a mobile game?
It is.
It is also on mobile platforms. Okay. It's on PS4, PC, iOS, and Android.
Yep.
Is it free to play?
Yes.
Is it a gacha game?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it extremely toxic yet? Yet being the key word here.
No. So that's the interesting thing about Genshin Impact. There are 2 things that stand out for it for me. One is, especially early game, it is not only dumping a ton of characters on you, it's dumping a ton of premium currency on you. And not even just like, here's the introductory missions, so of course we're giving you a bunch of pulls. It's like, if you find a chest and open it up in the world, it just gives you like 10 to 20.
Yeah.
No big deal. It's just giving you free currency for just like opening a chest out in the world.
On top of the developers constantly giving you stuff, because like, hey, you've played day 1. Here's your, 300,000 Mira or whatever.
Yeah, like 1 million people signed up for the game, so here's 500 premium currency.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I've been playing a lot of this because it's very relaxing. The other thing is, and I've seen some people push back on this, and I don't think this is a bad thing to say. It's very much Breath of the Wild, but no weapon breaking. So you can spend a whole bunch of time just saying, like, I see this cool tree on top of this cliff over here. I'm just going to go explore and find like 50 different things along the way. And you don't have to worry about downtime or whatever. You have to heal yourself, but that's really easy to do.
But you eventually get healer classes anyway, so...
Yeah, I haven't managed to get one yet. Mostly because I'm just dorking around in the open world rather than completing quests.
That's all I've been doing is quests.
Yeah, yesterday I spent a whole bunch of time doing quests where it's like, all right, I have to go back to the city and I have to just do more stuff because I'm... Not that I needed to because the game was stopping me. It's just like, I should get more characters. I should get more story progression because the translation on this game and the voice acting are both really good. Yeah. Like startlingly good to the point where you start a game up like this, you sort of expect free to play voice acting, and it is...
If any. Yeah.
Right, if any. Like, and Genshin Impact is really good. Yeah. Like I've been looking forward to it for a while, and I think it is far exceeding my expectations from how excited I was to play this.
I will say though, if you get... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, for the screenshots that you guys have been posting that I'm seeing, generally speaking, on social media, like, the game looks crisp.
It's beautiful. I'm playing. What are you playing it on? I'm playing on PS4.
Yeah, I'm on PS4 as well.
Okay. There's some frame rate hitchiness on PS4. It doesn't run super smoothly.
Every once in a while, I've noticed that the button input either doesn't work altogether, or there's a little bit of lag to it. Not all the time, but every once in a while, I'll try to jump and nothing happens.
It'll happen for me like maybe once an hour, where I'm like, why did I just fall off this cliff? Which there's no fall damage, and you have a glider, so like there's literally no
fall
risk.
Damage.
Oh, I haven't fallen from high up enough yet. Then
I've died from it. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
But like even Breath of the Wild style, there you can climb up cliffs, and it will take stamina away from you. But you start off with like 100 stamina, and whenever you level up the statues or whatever, they give you 7 more. And like 100 stamina is enough to climb up some really tall cliffs, like immediately in the game.
You can get some places.
And you can climb up cliffs in the rain, which is really good. Like everything that annoyed people, including myself in Breath of the Wild, the developers on this sort of seemed like, we're gonna take a lot of inspiration from that and kind of fix a lot of the rough edges.
I've noticed sometimes too, because like you can climb on anything in this game, doesn't matter. And I've noticed sometimes being in a town, my little fairy tracker, dust tracker for your next objective. Sometimes you'll be running through the streets, and next thing you know, your little dust tracker will just go straight up a wall because it realizes it's faster for you to climb this wall to get there than run around the town and go through the streets and all that.
The idiot line in this game is really great because it's like, just go this way, including up the wall and through this. I think the only thing I would caution is that if you are someone that legitimately despises anime, this game is very anime. And it doesn't shove it in your face a lot. Your little like fairy companion Paimon is pretty anime. It's like an anime mascot character. But
high-pitched voice, talks in third person.
Right. But like, you can kind of just mash the X button to get through all the dialogue if you don't want to hear it. So like, you don't have to deal with it that much. Yeah. It's one of the most relaxing open world games I've played in a really long time. Super low punishment. It's not one of those gacha games where every time you load it up, it has its hand out where it's like, come on, $10 more. Like you can do this. Yeah. It just sort of like, it drops you back in the world where you were. And it's like, all right, go have fun.
Yeah. I mean, so far with the gacha stuff, I haven't felt a need at all to do anything with it. Yeah, I have, just because I've gotten so much of the currency and I continue to earn the currency through the game, like just doing stuff in the game. So I mean, I've spent no money, but in-game currency, like I've got three or four extra characters that the game hasn't given me yet.
Yeah,
that I can use if I want, but there's not. You basically have characters that are aligned to 4 elements,
as far as I've seen.
Yeah. So, and the game so far gives you 1 character of the elements.
Yep. And gives you like 1 ranged character, 1 magic person, 1 sword guy. Yeah.
And so there's not really a need for you to have to buy anything, which I think I may eventually put money into this.
Yeah, I just
don't know what.
So I tossed $5 in the tip jar essentially by buying I'm a big fan of those like monthly reward things where you spend $5 and you get a little bit of currency now and get a little bit every day that you log in for the next month. I spent the $5 on that, and you get like 50 or 75 of it every day when you log in. And it's like, well, I'm logging in anyways to kind of just like fart around in the world, so I'll toss $5 at them. Sure, why not? Yeah, the game has felt really great. You can test drive all of the characters that are on like the banners right now, the gacha banners right now, and not only do you get to play around with them in like a challenge sort of thing, it's under the events tab for anyone that hasn't done those yet. You also get rewarded for just trying them out. Even if you don't like them, it's like, well, here's like a free pull. Here is 400 of this currency. Here's 15 of these super high XP leveling up items. Like it feels very rewarding. This might change in the future when you get to the end game, whatever that might be. But early on, it definitely does not feel like one of those where it's like, boy, you'd be having a lot more fun if you just spent like 15, $20. There's none of that.
And I've seen a lot of guides go up already saying that the characters that the game just gives you outright are viable to the end of the game.
That's
far.
Great. That's
so,
great.
And it's not constantly throwing stuff in your face saying, hey, you should check out, this banner or whatever. It shows you when it becomes available for you to get to the banner stuff.
Yep.
But then that's like the last time you ever see anything about it.
Yeah.
So it's not really constantly fair. In your face about, hey, you can, spend $10 and get this ultimate 5-star, 5-star sword or whatever. It's just, hey, this thing's here.
Yeah. Pull on the banner if you want. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
It's really
had a lot of fun just screwing around. I will also say too, if you do more of the story, you eventually get different non-story quests.
Okay.
And a lot of those will send you to different parts on the map. So you end up exploring while doing these quests as well. And they vary. A lot of them's just, hey, go here and kill like 8 things or whatever. A lot of it's MMO inspired, kind of in a weird way.
Kill 8 slimes.
Yeah, or go into this temple area and complete this temple, which is like none of them are very long.
No,
probably like maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you're kind of struggling a little bit, but there's nothing difficult about it. You're basically going into an arena, fighting things, going to the next arena, fight some more things, and look, there's the boss.
Right. Oh, we forgot to mention about some of the elemental combo stuff, like when there was fire on the ground, and your main character, you get to pick a boy or a girl when the game starts, and they use wind magic. I created a fire tornado because I used their tornado attack over fire on the ground, and just like this spinning fire tornado of death.
And it's pretty massive.
It's really big too, and like once I got I think they call the like electricity element electro or something like that. There was a bunch of goblins that was around a water slime. I used my ranged archer to pop that water slime, which got all of those guys wet. I threw a lightning ball at them, and it chained magic between all of them because they were all wet. Like, there's these kind of fun. A lot of the encounters are really easy, especially at the beginning of the game, so you don't need to do any of this stuff. But it's, number one, fun, and number two, it really takes a ton of damage off of these enemies.
Yeah, and eventually, too, your main character can switch what element they're aligned with.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've gotten into a new area, which, this is the other cool thing. Everything's open map, open world. So I saw this treehouse looking thing, like this massive town in a tree. It's like, oh, let's go check that out. And if your character or your party's levels aren't high enough, it will kind of push you back, saying, hey, you're not ready for this. But my characters were high enough, and I was able to go through like this little area to get to that tree. And I ran all the way out there and made it to the tree and was able to explore. And then I found a different set of, what do they call them? Like the god statues or whatever.
So, yeah, statues of the something 7?
Yeah.
Something like
that? Yes. This one was an earth elemental statue, which has its own, like how you've been getting those wind currencies to put in the statue to boost your stamina and all that.
Yeah.
This one has a geo currency. And you put these geocurrencies into it, and it does the same thing where you boost your stamina, you get extra experience and money and all that stuff.
That's cool.
At that statue, you can choose to change your element to the geo element.
Oh,
and then you go back to the wind, and then you go back to the wind shrine goddess statue or whatever, and you can change your element back to the wind element.
Oh man, one of the other things I like too is at some point, once you get introduced to the Adventurers Guild or whatever is really early on in the game, because each of your characters have level, and then you have this like adventurer level that's essentially like your global account level in some other games. And you're leveling it, and it's giving you rewards. But once you get the adventurers like handbook or guidebook or whatever it is, they give you individual challenges in there, like burn one of the goblins' wooden shields with your fire arrows, and that'll give you premium currency too. When you complete all things on a page, that'll give you even more premium currency. There's so much in this game, and it's really, genuinely really good, really, really high quality, really well done. And as long as this game doesn't get greedy or doesn't get like incredibly, like punishingly grindy at some point, this is a guaranteed top 10 game for me this year. Hands down.
This game's also got a battle pass.
So great.
I think it's adventure level 20 was when I unlocked it. You get the
I'm like
pass.
level 12, so
there's 3 different versions of it. There's the free version.
Of course there is.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
There's I forget what they call it. One of them's like a premium. You basically have like a $10 tier that you can pay for, and then I think there was like I don't remember what the other price was.
$20, $30 probably.
I don't think it was 30, maybe 20.
Right.
But there's basically 3 different tiers that you can do. And it's the same thing where it's like you just keep doing missions and then you start earning, what do they call it, like battle pass points or whatever. And that's how you unlock more levels into that.
Interesting.
But I mean, that one seems to be a little slower. I think right now I'm only level 3 or 4 in that battle pass, but I just unlocked it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So it's not super slow. It's not like Call of Duty, and I think this only goes up to 50. It doesn't go up to like 100 or anything like that. So, cool.
I do have to say, I do have 2 criticisms of the game, and they're both fairly minor. One is figuring out how much of which currency of the 3 currencies you have to pull is insane. Because it'll show you like these orbs, and there's 2 different kinds. There's like a purple one and a blue one. That's the currency to pull. And if you try to pull on a banner without the currency, they say, hey, would you like to refill it with this other currency? It's like, sure. And that's like the premium currency, that Primo Gem, whatever it is. That's the one that's like,
thing,
yeah, that's the one that's always dropping with like the orange icon. If you don't have enough of that, they'll say, I don't have enough of this. Do you want to refill it with this other currency? And it's like, I guess. Can I? And if you don't have any of that, then it says like you can buy these if you want, but it doesn't really push you on it. That is a little maddening, just like trying to figure out exactly how much I have to pull.
That's why I also said, don't ask me which of the 5 currencies it is that you need to do that.
No idea. The other thing is, I really, unless I haven't figured out how to do it, I really wish the combat had a lock-on.
I haven't figured it out either. No.
It seems like the game doesn't have one. It's definitely playable without it. It's not really a major issue. I just kind of wish, especially when I'm fighting like bosses out in the world and I'm dashing to dodge attacks and I'm doing like multiple dashes to dodge multiple attacks. I wish I could just stay locked onto this one thing that I'm fighting. That'd make it a little bit easier.
It almost seems like there should be, just because, especially when you're fighting in groups, the camera will move by itself, and it doesn't always necessarily give you the best angle where it's like, hey, I can see all 5 of the things I'm fighting, and next thing I know, the thing's like ground level, and I can't see anything because the blades of grass are in the way. And it's like,
yeah, the camera's just in the ground. Yeah. And again, not the hugest issue, just one of those things where it's like, if you're going to kind of take inspiration from modern 3D Zelda games, you should carry that over too, because that's super helpful. Yeah. But it's
a really fun game.
Yeah, it's really good.
We've talked a lot about how we enjoy filling bars and watching things grow, and this has got a lot of that.
It's like 15 achievement pages that all have a bar of its own. It's like, yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go play Genshin Impact. It's really good.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to hold me over until end of October, when the next game I'm looking for finally comes out. So
right on the 27th.
I'm really which I'm really glad too, because this was a game that I was interested in way back when people first started talking about it, because everyone was talking about how it was a Zelda knockoff.
Right.
Which that by itself is like, you know what? Fine, I'll take an anime Zelda and I'll give it a try and see what it's about. And it's gone through a lot of changes since then. So I was kind of worried, and I actually talked with Mina from Pup. She was streaming it last week sometime before the week before it came out on everything. And I was asking her a bunch of questions too, especially with the gacha. And she was just like, nah, there's nothing to worry about, because she played a lot of the beta. I don't know how many, but I know she was in the last beta at least.
Right.
And she was like, "There's not really anything that you have to spend money on if you don't want to so far." So that's really nice.
The biggest thing I can suggest is just give it a shot. I feel like if you play an hour of that, because it takes the training wheels off really early and just says, like, look at this giant map. We're not going to stop you from exploring it. Like, you can't move on to the next area yet, but, like, just check it out. Just go play it. And within that first hour, I think you'll know whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I've been playing this week. Just
All
a
right.
ton of Genshin Impact.
Yeah. We talked about 3 of my 5 games on my list this week. So I played some Rocket League this week.
Man. Now they're free to play.
Yeah. Now free to play, which was hilarious. I played it originally when it came out on PS Plus back on launch, and bounced off of it. No pun intended. So firing it up now, it's like, look at all these like veteran rewards you got. I have like 30 tires, 15 cars, like 70 banners. I have folders for decals for stuff. Like, it's just dumping stuff on me.
My son keeps telling me I need to log in so I can get all my veteran stuff. And I'm just like, I don't
so
care.
Much stuff. It's so much stuff. I'm logging in because there's a Fortnite crossover event with Rocket League where you're unlocking items for the other game by playing the other game. So playing Fortnite unlocks stuff in Rocket League and vice versa.
Okay.
So, and a lot of the Fortnite stuff in Rocket League is really great because you get like a llama, like the paper mache pinata llama for the top of your ship. You get the paper mache wrap for your tires in your car. Like, all of it is really good. If you do get all of it, you get to unlock the battle bus to drive around. Like, there are some really great rewards. I think there's like a week left on the event in Rocket League. And when you do all that, you unlock like a Rocket League trail for Fortnite. You unlock like the stereotypical blue car that's like the Rocket League car. That's on your backpack in Fortnite. So there's some cool unlocks between both games.
Do you get the ball as a parachute?
No, you get like...
That would be really good.
It's like the what is there a parachute one? No, there's only like a diving trail, which kind of doesn't even look like Rocket League. It's a little weird. I kind of still don't like Rocket League. There's something about Rocket League that's never really clicked with me, and I felt a little bit better about it this time, but I did find a mode that I really liked.
Was it hoops?
No, I hate hoops. Jeez. I didn't like hoops. I didn't like the one with the hockey puck. I really
you didn't like the
liked...
hockey one?
No, it's just because I wish the puck was heavier. I wish it did a little bit less flying. I really liked the mode where you have to break the floor and then get the ball through the floor. That one is super cool because that was like the Rocket League matches last a really long time. Like I was a lot. I liked that mode a lot because the matches were going faster because the point values were lower because you had to land the ball on the field a number of times to break it and then land it in there. So there's this cool like push and pull between the two teams, like trying to break the other team's side and then trying to like fly through the air and like butt punch the ball away from like falling into your side. I thought that was really cool.
So you're telling me that you'd really like to go onto the game grid?
Very much so, yeah. Yeah, that's essentially what I'm saying, yeah. Rocket League seems like it's in a really solid place. There's a ton of match types. There's a ton of unlockable stuff. It's just a game that hasn't ever really clicked with me. I'm glad I gave it another shot now that I played it at launch, like, 25 years ago when it came out. And now I'm trying it now that it has this is like season 1 of the free-to-play thing. And it seems like it's in a really solid place. The population is I think the longest it took me to find a game was 5 seconds.
Yep.
Population is huge now, and which also means the quality of players is all over the place.
I was gonna say, because it used to be like a couple months ago, I could not score a point because, I barely play the game as it is.
Right.
But I would have to sit back as goalie just because I couldn't get the ball anywhere, because you would instantly have 3 other guys who've been playing this for like 50 hours a week.
Right. These MLG pros.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it feels a lot. I mean, you're going to win or lose the dice roll sometimes. Sometimes, like, you yourself are going to score 5 goals in a match, and then sometimes you're going to get 10 goals scored on you in a 5-minute game, which is fine. I kind of like that, having the dice roll there, but it's just still something about Rocket League that I can't put my finger on, that it still hasn't clicked with me. But I'm glad I gave it another shot, and it seems like that game is in a really good spot.
It is.
Yeah. My other game this week, Fall Guys. I finally hit Season Pass rank 40, which is the max rank for Fall Guys, 5 days before Season 2 launches. And then the next day, after I grinded out those last couple levels, they announced double XP. So, had I not pushed so hard so early, probably could have just flown right through those last couple. But now I get to take a good week off before Season 2 launches. Season 2 looks like they're making a ton of improvements on the game, and they're adding a whole bunch of new games on top of the ones they have. Be nice if they would remove a couple, like Perfect Match and Egg Scramble and some of the ones that are not that great. There's probably about 4 games that I would probably be happy if they would go away. But Fall Guys, that mid-season patch they did made a huge difference for just the variety of matches you're going to get and which games. I think that the variety of individual levels made that so much more fun, because it's not like, oh, I'm playing Slime Climb again, here's my perfect path through the thing. It's like, no, here's Slime Climb, and every tier is totally different from the last time you played it. I think that's a huge improvement. I hope that Season 2's maps and games launch that way. That'll make the whole season a lot smoother. But Fall Guys is still really great, and I'm hoping the season pass for Season 2 is not super expensive. I'm okay with spending like $10 on it. But I guess we'll see next week. I think it launches on Thursday, the 8th. So we'll see how that goes. I'm super excited to kind of jump back in there, and my kid still 100% loves watching me play that game. It was just really great.
Is she still asking for the Slappy to win?
Yes, because I keep playing. I actually got a friend request from someone in the game because they had the exact same skin I had on, and pattern and color pattern underneath. So we were like Slurpee twins. So that was it's also, she's 3, so we're doing a lot of learning about numbers and counting and addition and subtraction and stuff like that. So the number of people remaining that has qualified has been a really good boost for her number learning, which is really great.
Also, visual learning through the fruits and stuff like that, the match the fruit things.
Which is half of the reason why I'm really bad at that game, because I'm like, all right, it's watermelon, cherry, apple, orange, watermelon, cherry, apple, orange, and my kid's like, there's a banana, there's a grape, there's a cherry, and I'm like, I fell through the floor because I don't watermelon, cherry, nope, I lost it. So you can't be mad about it, because the longest match you're going to have for Fall Guys is 7 to 10 minutes. So you just fall through the slime and kind of get right back in there.
Well, and 9 times out of 10, as long as you're standing on the platform that has the most people on it, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah, 20 people are over here. That's probably the right one. But yeah, Fall Guys is still really good, and I'm very excited for Season 2. I'm happy that Season 1 was kind of short, because I'm I'm excited for them to keep this momentum rolling because it still seems popular on YouTube, still seems popular on Twitch. Doesn't seem like they have their private lobbies stuff ready yet. So in lieu of that, I'm happy to see them kind of give the game a facelift and keep that momentum rolling because I want this team to do super well because they made a really great game.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
God, because I gotta open a window in here. It is so fucking hot.
Yeah, it is.
It's like
Real
50
spicy
degrees
here.
outside right now, and my computer is a fucking heater as it is, and my wife has the heat on.
Oh boy.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, I'm just gonna run to the bathroom.
All right. Let's check out news stories here last minute. How's everyone in chat doing? Got a bunch of quiet peeps in chat this week, which is okay. 27 news stories here. Hello to the Nimpa chat. Call of Duty Mobile rakes in $480 million in first year of release.
Wow.
I knew that was big, but I didn't think it was that big, man. Genshin Impact could use a few adjustments on mobile. Yeah, probably.
I'm slightly curious to check it out on mobile.
Well, the real bummer of it, I didn't realize this until I had started the game and put a couple hours in. You and I, having started on PS4, we can't cross-play with the other platforms. Yeah, so like PC and mobile cross-play, which is great, but like I thought like, oh, I'll start on PS4 because I'll just move on to PS5 once that comes out. It should have better performance, and it should be a little bit smoother, and I won't have to like restart anything. But
yeah,
it's a bummer.
I purposely I had seen a story about that before I had downloaded it because that came out like a couple days before it opened up for everybody.
Oh, okay.
And I purposely went with PS4 anyway because I didn't get a chance to play Little Witch Nabetta this week because my wife has been playing Sims 4
right
whenever she gets the chance. So it's like, all right, I will just do this. But I'm just interested in how it does on mobile.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing from most people, apparently runs really well. Because like your actions and everything in the bottom right hand side of the screen, there's just touch buttons. So like you just touch whichever one you want to do.
Well, and since I've got the Galaxy 20, I've got like this wide 9-inch.
Oh, fucking, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it has controller support. I haven't heard anyone try controller support on mobile. I know the PC version does, but I think you have to turn it on in the settings. Yeah. It doesn't like auto discover. Which is fine.
Yeah, whatever. I'm really surprised and really happy at how that game's turned out so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep coming back to it. Like I keep seeing it in my PS4 dashboard and I was like, I should play a little bit more of that. And I play like 3 hours and like my kid and I are both wrapped watching that. And it's sort of like, oh, how long? Oh, it's lunchtime already. Oh boy. Okay. I gotta feed this kid and myself.
I've gotten to the point where I've just been wandering around to the different like warp locations basically.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I pull up the map and I see, oh, there's like 5 warp locations on this side of the map. I can just hit up all those, and then I always get sidetracked. Oh, hey, there's a chest over here, and
yeah, I'm just gonna start heading east.
And here's a challenge, and okay, where'd that warp location go?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really good. All right, are you guys ready to do the rest of this episode?
I will say one more thing about Genshin. If you get to adventure level 20 before 1.1, you get a free what's her name? Barbara, the one water type healing class.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go start pushing towards that.
Yeah. There hasn't been an announcement for when 1.1 is coming yet.
Oh, okay.
So it sounds like you've still got some time, but just to let you know, once you hit level 20, you just get her automatically then.
Oh,
so
okay. I'll have to go do that. him.
I think her name's Barbara or something. I don't remember.
Something. They all have like common but weird names at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't remember the names of anybody yet. I'm like, I have my fire archer lady in the...
I was gonna say, I think her name is Amber.
I think so. It's like one of those things where it's like
the fire chick has a fire name.
yeah, it's like the
Kind of.
famous fantasy archer Amber. I have like my the only other person I remember is the electric witch lady because her name is just Lisa. And it's like okay, sure, just a bunch of regular people. And my character Janston,
Yeah.
or Traveler.
Yeah, it does that funny, stupid JRPG thing where you can choose to name a character whatever you want, and your name will show up in the text, but people will say their thing, and then where your name is in the text, they'll either be quiet and not say your name, or they'll just be like, oh, the Traveler here.
Yeah.
The Shepherd.
Right. Pathfinder.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of October 5th, 2020. I Am Dead comes out for PC and Switch. This is a new game published by Annapurna. This is the one where they just announced it fairly recently. The one where a bunch of people, it's that Lighthouse game, where it's a bunch of people like, it seems like it's another one of those Spiritfarer things where it's like a cheery exploration of the afterlife, which sounds weird, but apparently is a subgenre I am way into. And FIFA 21 comes out, PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One, which needs no introduction. News stories, we already talked about the Apex Legends crossplay this week. I think the only thing we didn't mention was that it won't include cross progression, which they're hoping to revisit later in 2020 when Apex launches on Steam. But I feel like that's way less of an issue because you can just now play with your friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
The only other news story we have this week, because a lot of it is just like, I touched an Xbox Series X and here's my impressions, which all have been very good. I appreciate a lot of people putting out videos on exactly how that thing works. 2 thumbs up. Looks very good.
Saying it's bigger than it looks.
Yeah, and then putting the PS5 next to it, and I go, oh boy, oh no, that will not fit anywhere.
Apparently, Auto HDR works from just a standard hard drive plugged in.
Great.
By the way,
2 thumbs up. That's I like that every time a feature comes out and people get a hand on it with the Series X, they're just like, yeah, it works how you want it to. It's like, great, good. I don't have to worry about it. Last news story here: Farmville shuts down after 11 years. It's going to shut down at the end of the year. I feel like this is noteworthy because it, for the longest time, was the biggest game on the planet.
Yep. This is kind of one of those games that, quote unquote, gamers got to say everybody is gamer because you all play Farmville like crazy. You've got 6 Facebook accounts just for one Farmville.
Just to trade cows between yourself. Yeah, this caught by wildfire. I think it was Facebook's first big title. I think there were Facebook games on there beforehand, but nothing to the level of Farmville. I mean, this is the same. I know it hasn't been big because like Farmville 2 came out. I think Farmville 3 is coming out relatively soon. This would be like when Minecraft's servers shut down, like when Minecraft stops development. That this is the level of game that Farmville was, and the only reason they're stopping is because Facebook will no longer be supporting Flash as of January 1st, 2021. So there's just gonna literally be no way for you to play original Farmville anymore.
Which I think Adobe is not supporting Flash anymore at the end of 2021, isn't it?
Yeah, they stopped developing it.
They keep pushing it back, but...
Yeah, I think they stopped actively developing it like a year or 2 ago, and they're just kind of doing extended development where it's like, please stop using it. Please, for real, it's super insecure. Please, God. So yeah, crazy end of an era, but nice to see that Farmville was still fairly large even as it was going out. Let's move on to questions here. T-Bomb Rocket asks us in Discord, having 3 daughters around the same age, my household either discusses the newest TikTok video or Roblox. I've tried to play it with the girls, but I don't enjoy it. I do find myself happy that they are passionate about any video game. My question is, what are games you've played with a family member or friend that they were just having the time of their life and you were just surviving? He said also, this could be a board game because Monopoly. I mean, Monopoly is like the classic, like, boy, seems like everyone else is having fun and I just want to jump off the roof of this house.
That's when you do house rules.
That's right. That's right.
And the house rules being you get to jump off if you lose.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or if you win, because no one enjoys Monopoly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've got 2 good examples of this.
Okay.
Dead by Daylight. But my wife was really into that.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of okay and kind of like, okay, like whatever kind of thing. It wasn't until like literally a year later that the Dead by Daylight vampire snuck up and took my soul away from me.
Little slip.
And Rainbow Six Siege. Like when I play that with my wife, I know I could have so much fun with that game if I put in the time.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't want to put in the amount of time it would take to get me good at that game.
Right.
So most times, like they're throwing out tactics and stuff like that, and
they've call outs for the maps. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't even know what room I'm in, and then I'll glance at the bottom right corner where it says, and then I'm dead because I glanced at the bottom right hand corner.
I'm in a bedroom of some sort, and they're like, "Oh, there's 4 bedrooms, Moon." It's just like, oh, I don't know that.
Yeah. I mean, the bedroom that has the kids' things on the walls, there's 2 of those.
Right, they have 2 kids, duh. It's like, oh, come on. I'm trying to think.
I've got a list, a laundry list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because with my 2 kids, mine. So first starting out was Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the game, but the problem starts to be at the time when my son was like 5, that they will lose interest in what they're doing, and then the next thing you know, they're off doing their own thing, and I'm trying to build a house and fight off a horde of zombies. And then, my son is doing God only knows what, setting some field on fire or whatever, which that hasn't changed in several years.
Their innate chaos engine.
Yeah. And the same thing with my daughter, where it was like a lot of fun things have come out of that, like the time that we took the Nightmare Before Christmas World and got bored and decided, okay, we're just going to put everything underwater.
Oh, right.
And that turned out really cool. But then there's other times where it's like, hey, I'm building this city up in the sky. And she's like, I don't want to do that. And then TNT keeps showing up in my city and blowing things up. And it's
weird.
What are you doing? Then moving on from that, my son's obsession with Rocket League. I don't have any issues with the game. I'm not good. I'm fine with that. I don't care. I will never play professionally.
Right.
But his constantly wanting to play that game, and it's like there were times where I was in the office just getting pretty mad about not even things that he was doing. It was just like, these people are too good. We should not be grouped up with these people.
Right.
This is not going well.
Right.
And
skill-based matchmaking has failed us.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he was having fun, so whatever. I would just quietly grumble in my room while he's sitting there laughing about, he said good job 15 times in the chat menu, or, whatever.
I didn't even realize there was chat until, like, someone scored, like, a 10th goal on us, and someone said whoops in the chat, and I was like, oh, how dare you?
Yeah. there is a quick chat feature in Rocket League that is used about as viciously as the Clash Royale one can be as well.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Oh,
and then
God.
Moving on from there, the Lego games. I enjoy the Lego games.
Yes.
I haven't played one in a long time. But when you're playing...
That's why you enjoyed them.
Yeah.
You're right.
But when you're playing in co-op and it requires you and your kid to do something simultaneously, a lot of times I found it just goes a lot easier if I have both controllers in my lap and I just do it myself.
Yeah.
So And then moving on from there, No Man's Sky. I love playing No Man's Sky with my son, but again, it's one of those things where I have to keep an eye on him, or else he's setting a planet on fire, and then I'm slowly watching my rep go down with other aliens, and I don't know why.
You're fighting 20 Sentinels at once. It's like, cool, and he's off on another star system. He's like, Dad will take care of it.
Yeah, exactly. I started playing Spiritfarer with my daughter, which is fine. Great game, but she doesn't want to do the quest stuff to continue on the game. She just wants to keep messing around with the cat.
Right.
Which is fine, but it's mildly infuriating where it's like, all right, we just need to do this one thing, and then you can do all this other cool stuff. And she's like, no, I like watching the cat run on water. And it's like, no, come on.
I do too, but Dad has to finish a game in 2020. Come on.
So yeah, as you can tell, a lot of my issues are generally with my kids and not really with the game.
Right.
Oh, and
that
Fall
sounds
Guys.
like parenting.
Fall Guys is another one where this is kind of Fall Guys' fault too. Because I do not like that egg one, that egg map thing where you have to collect all the eggs into a basket or whatever. I loathe that. Anytime it comes up, it makes me just want to drop out.
Yeah.
And it's only made worse where my son is like, oh, well, I did this, this, and this, and you didn't even do this. And I'm like,
it's like, excuse me.
Yeah, let's put on Call of Duty and see how well you do.
Right. Well, 1v1 in the gulag. Let's go.
Yeah. Which, no, I do not let my kids play Call of Duty, but I will bury him.
Right. Just know this is not an empty threat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
I don't know. I can't think. I don't really let my kid play games yet, so those stories will happen shortly. But I don't know. I feel like I don't have any game that I can think of recently where I'm like playing with a bunch of people and they're like, "This is so good," and I'm like, "Oh God, when is this over?" Like I can't think of anything.
No, you just feel that way whenever you play Destiny. I know.
Well, yeah, because I'm a Destiny fan, which means I hate it. That's a joke.
Sometimes it happens with the Oregon Trail card game that we have here at the house too, where my kids will be all about it, and then we're on the second iteration of our map, and the kids just completely lose interest. Yeah. And then somebody dies, and they're back into it again.
Right. Here we go, death. All right, we're talking.
Yeah, or even like the time, because like I DM'd for my kids. We did I can't remember what it's called now, but there was like I think I have it all right here. There's like a real simple version of Dungeons and Dragons that you can get, and what was it called? Here we go. M25th, the Adamantine edition. It's a real dumbed down, simple, like I printed off like the whole DM thing. And we did that, and like we printed off like different characters, and this is all visual based, but like, I printed off different characters for them to try out for their classes and whatnot, and they colored it in, and they had their own character sheets and all that, and I had a whiteboard that I was using. Like I went full on into it, and they were all about it for about an hour. And my son could not stop laughing because I was making him role play as his character.
Oh,
and he just came down with like the giggles really hardcore and just could not get past it. It's like,
it's just role playing as a hyena.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we're gonna fight something now because you can't stop laughing. So.
Right. Suddenly goblins.
Yeah. Roll your initiative. Let's go.
Yeah. Optimus Servo asks us in Discord, with the recent purchase of Bethesda by Microsoft and the joining of Todd Howard and Phil Spencer on the same stage, or chat room, wherever we end up, my question is, who's going to wear the better jackets, Todd or Phil?
Phil. Todd's out that door the second his contract expires.
Probably, yeah. I got my payday, peace.
Come on, he's done with everything.
And the only thing that I'm sort of concerned about now is we won't see another completely off the rails, unhinged Bethesda press conference again. And
well, you mean you don't want Andrew WK showing up at the Microsoft presser?
Those press conferences were so bad, and like in a way that the Konami ones used to be, where I'm looking forward to it every year. Was like, all right, 20 minutes, here comes this train wreck.
They were bad, but they had their positives, like their very declarative anti-Nazi stance.
Yes. Yeah, they very much like a pro-punch Nazis stance, which is always appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Phil has like a little bit of a leg up style-wise over Todd. Todd does all
Number
right.
one, he's also number one. I think Phil is slightly younger, and also he has somehow managed to suck the souls from millions of people to continue to remain to look as young as he does, considering his position in a Fortune 500 company.
So he's on the Jay Allard plan.
Yes.
There's a painting in an attic somewhere.
Oh, speaking of which, though, the fella who left Microsoft to go to EA to go to Liverpool, he's stepping down from Liverpool.
Oh no!
Yeah, I don't, dude. He's a fan. He grew up in the area. He literally is part of the team responsible for bringing us from a $300 million team to like $1 billion team. So
Right,
good
hanging
for
up
him.
his hat.
He's moving on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
I think Spencer carries himself more casually. Like, I think Todd has got some style, but Todd always comes across as the business dad trying to fit in with the kids.
Right.
Whereas
he's wearing his more casual sport coat to the soccer field.
Yeah. Whereas Spencer he wears that stuff like he wears that going to bed. Like just like he's so in tune with that outfit. He's just like, what, you think I'm going to go meet with the CEO of Microsoft in a shirt? Go away. I'm wearing this Jack and Daxter t-shirt because I want to buy Sony.
Satya Nadella and I are going to go hit the In-N-Out after this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would agree with that. It was a good question. I hadn't thought about this one, but it was exactly the sort of question I love on the show, which is who wears better coats? I like it. But that's all our questions for this week, which means that's the end of this episode. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us on the right hand side of the page, including our merchandise link where you can buy the fantastic and fabulous shirt that Moonpeer designed that both of my esteemed co-hosts are wearing right now. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Sold you at the top, $5 a month, super cheap. You get probably more audio than I should be recording and posting in a month over there, and I don't delete any of it. So if you sign up now, you get literally hundreds of back catalog episodes, and for you to enjoy. New Game Club game this month. We're playing Super Metroid. Go listen to We Rogue Like It. For patrons, we're finishing up Dungeon of the Endless. For the public feed, we're probably halfway through that now, I think. Patrons will get the next ranking episode, which turned out a little bit differently than I was expecting it to. So it was a good. We haven't had like a knockdown drag out fight on the ranking episodes yet, but I was expecting it to happen here, and we all just went, yeah, that fits, that works.
So you guys are all too laid back.
I mean, that is one bonus of it.
One day you're gonna say something, and Monkey is just gonna go ape on you guys.
Right?
No. It's gonna be Boston who loses. Come on.
Probably. Yeah.
I say Monkey because he's pretty reserved.
Yeah. One of these days, one of us will break. Just one roguelike out there will just be too bad for us to handle, and that'll be it for. Someone will be like, all right, I can't play more of this. I'll see you guys in 3 weeks. Bye. Click. So go listen to We Rogue Like It. That hasn't happened. And I think that's go listen to Critical Misses. We're about halfway through recording season 3, which means season 2 is well underway. A 2-month early access for patrons. And season 1 is, I think, almost wrapping up here on the public feed here. We're having a blast doing the show. We're watching a lot of really great movies. And you should go check it out. It's a good time. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Boy.
Bye.
All right, Nimp. What are your titles?
All right. I have Charmingly Toxic.
I already put a check mark next to that one.
Dwarves by Flarelight. I Say It With Love. The Wrongs of Yarnum. Good Chunky Guitar. And Slurpee Twins.
All right. Moon, what do you have?
I Say It With Love, Tool Music Video Corpse, Everything is Terrible, I Hate Updates, Yet Being the Keyword, Onto the Game Grid, Slurpy Twins, and Trade Cows Between Yourself.
That's a good one. I have Charmingly Toxic, The Wrongs of Yarnum, Slurpy Twins, and I Say It With Love. I like Charmingly Toxic a lot. That's my leader out of all of these.
Sounds good to me.
Moon, do you feel strongly about any of the other titles in the running for this week?
No, I think it's a solid one.
I shall circle it. See you. Let me know when you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
5 for 5. There we go. Let's go. I'll figure something out. Hopefully, Moon doesn't throw me off my path again.
Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 676 for October 5th, 2020. Charmingly Toxic.
I love you and hate myself.
It goes down sweetly as it poisons you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very God, what is the sun? I'm going to disappear into the light here. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with us and chatting. We'll see you next week. Bye.